Butler Tech, what's going on? My name is William Sprangles. I get to serve as the proud superintendent for Butler Tech Schools. And today we are coming to you with our third episode, our third installment of our Good Trouble podcast. Today I have a wonderful guest, Mr. Jimmy Wagers, who's with us. And before we get started, the purpose of our Good Trouble podcast, number one, is to amplify voices of any educator. Educators to Butler Tech means you're a classroom teacher, you are a secretary, you're a maintenance worker, you're a custodian, you are anyone inside of a school that has influence over the culture of that particular school. And so today, Mr. Wagers is going to join us. The second purpose of our Butler Tech podcast is to really celebrate the culture of our people and to celebrate the culture of our organization. So we're going to talk about some good things today, Mr. Wagers. And then finally, we might talk about creating a little good trouble, which is nothing more than, might there be a way for our organization to improve? Might there be a way for our organization to challenge some systems or some structures? And if not that, might there be a better way for us to learn how to lift people up better and just keep getting better as an overall organization? So that's the purpose of our Good Trouble podcast. Welcome to the show today, Mr. Wagers. Absolutely love having you and humbled that you're here with us today.
I'm humbled to be here. Thank you.
Typically, we start off each episode by just doing some storytelling. So storytelling is something that's super important to us at Butler Tech. And we're going to work from some simple stories to some more in-depth stories. But before we get started today, how are you today? Like, what's your vibe? How are you feeling? Are you having a good day, not so good day? What's your overall energy today?
I'm having a good day.
You having a good day?
Yeah, most days are good days.
Most days are good days?
Yes,
What makes a good day for you when you come to work here?
Getting things accomplished, knowing we're headed in the right direction, and seeing that we're actually accomplishing our goals that we've set and practices that we've got in place in maintenance.
Yes, sir. Let's start, Mr. Wagers. Tell the audience, where do you come from? Like, where'd you grow up? What was that story like? Who'd you grow up with?
I grew up in Hamilton.
Hamilton?
I lived out here in Liberty Township when I was younger for about 6 years. I actually lived out here before Liberty Township in Westchester just exploded, or there was a Butler Tech here.
Okay.
When I would drive by here with my family, this was just a mound that you could see. It was a field, probably farmland at the time, but you really couldn't see up in there. Since then, at about 6 years old, we moved back to Hamilton and grew up there. But the amazing part is how this area has exploded.
Yeah.
Since I was a child.
Tremendous economic, residential, commercial growth in this entire area. Absolutely.
So I've been able to see most of what our subdivisions today when I was growing up was woods or farmland.
Okay. Tell me some Hamilton things. I understand that you are a season ticket holder to Hamilton High School Big Blue football. Is that?
I am. I've done that for about 20 years.
Did you play football in high school?
No, I worked through high school. I played in junior high, and then in high school, I worked at an IGA actually from before my sophomore year till I graduated.
Fantastic.
And I kept busy. So that was more important at the time than the sports activity.
Understood. Tell the audience, what kind of student were you when you were growing up, when you were in high school?
From elementary and junior high, honestly, I was probably the student most teachers dreaded to have.
Okay.
I had the attention span of a gnat.
Wait, let me tell you, Mr. Wagers, you are in good company. That's you and I both, my brother. Go ahead, keep going.
And I couldn't sit still.
Okay.
Back when I was growing up, they would give Ritalin, different medications. I probably would have qualified for that at that time because my brain wouldn't shut down. And
understood.
And I think what frustrated my teachers the most is my test scores would come back so high.
Oh,
but I couldn't keep myself checked.
Yeah.
And settled in. But then about 8th, 9th grade, something switched. And after that, I just flowed through and was quiet, stayed out of trouble. And
was IGA your first job, or did you have a different first job?
First job I had when I was about 12 years old, throwing newspapers. And then at 14, I was able to be a busboy at the local Frisch's restaurant.
Okay.
And then when I turned 15, I was eligible to actually work at a regular. So I actually sat down and went through the phone book and called. And the manager of the store at that time told me on the phone, he said, I like to hire guys your age. he said, "I'd like to keep you all the way through high school."
Mm.
And he was a good man, and he kept me and taught me a lot about that, and was patient, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Those were fun times.
Mm. Couple of things you said that are making me laugh internally is my first job also was delivering newspapers for the Northwest Press out in the Mount Healthy and Coleraine neighborhoods. And then my second job was also being a busboy and a dishwasher at La Rosa's Pizza at the top of Hamilton Avenue. So
Understood.
I understand that grind. I understand that journey. I'm sure we got some amazing stories that overlap. In your quick share out, I've also been told that I believe your wife, if I'm not mistaken, is your high school sweetheart. Is that correct?
We met when we were 15, our sophomore year, and we dated on and off, and then we kind of parted and didn't see each other for years.
Okay.
And then we kind of reconnected at 23 just by chances of circumstance. So we've been together about 33 years and been married this July or September will be our 30th year of marriage.
Congratulations to you, sir.
So
So, talk to us a little bit about as a set of hobbies. I hear you love fishing.
I love it with passion.
What kind of fishing? Like lake fishing, river fishing?
I will fish whatever that I think I'm going to catch. I'm not backward. Uh, I've done a lot of catfish. I grew up. My father took,
Okay.
and that was. It seemed like back in those days, uh, the fathers were a different type of breed of men back then. They
Okay.
were more solemn and
Yeah.
hard, and but that was the one place we connected.
Okay.
That if he wanted to set fish for 8 hours, I wasn't playing with the rocks. I wasn't. I was fishing. So he developed that.
I feel compelled again to share I have dozens of memories of my father taking me to various different lakes when I was growing up. He claims to be a fisherman. He didn't catch much anything then. He would always use dough balls and fish with Wheaties and Jello. I never forget him making dough balls, and I couldn't understand why we just couldn't use regular worms to fish with. So I'm not sure if you've ever used or made dough balls when you're fishing before.
I have. We walked a lot of creeks in Butler County.
Okay.
Back then, uh, it wasn't so much. Now, if you pull over, you're on somebody's property, and so many people over the years have caused misfortune on others or done damage or left their mess. But back then, you could pull over by a creek, and we would walk 2 or 3 miles up that creek and 2 or 3 miles back
Yes, sir.
in that creek.
Yes, sir.
So he developed that love for them and that time. That was the way we bonded.
Is your father still around?
Unfortunately, no. We lost him about 13 years ago to cancer.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for sharing, sir. My father's still around, and so this particular part of our podcast is pushing me to go reach out to my dad soon hereafter. And I don't know that I'm going to take him fishing, but I'm going to call him when we leave here. So,
I'd encourage it.
yeah. What are we going to do about these Bengals?
It's hard being a Cincinnati sports fan.
Yes, sir.
I remember, obviously when I was little, we had the Big Red Machine,
Yep.
and then I remember the World Series of the '90 World Series, and we swept the A's.
Yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah, awesome.
I was alive for that. I wasn't there to set the game. I was in the 4th grade for that.
But that,
So I do recall.
and then obviously the times that we've made the Super Bowl and been on that verge of, but it's we seem to come up short a lot more than what we.
Yeah, being a Cincinnati sports fan makes it rough to come to work on Monday mornings some days. So,
It's tough.
are you more of a Bengals fan or more of a Reds fan?
More of a Bengals fan. As when I was younger, I really paid attention about every sport. I kept up into them, was really involved. And as I got older, life got busier. I kind of narrowed it down to the football season, and I'm huge as far as watching high school. I love the Buckeyes,
Same.
and you know,
Struggling on Sundays to watch the Bengals with our fellow Bengals fans. Yes, sir.
it is the thing that gives me a little bit of a break. Is I play fantasy football,
Okay.
so that's something that takes your mind. You start worrying more about where's the
Your fantasy. It at least when you play fantasy, it allows you to to cheer for and advocate for players outside your city-based.
Absolutely.
I understand. Fantasy football is a good outlet when you're a Bengals fan. It gets us through the times together.
And I got hopes at some point in my lifetime they'll turn it around and we'll get to see that championship.
Yeah. Final question: do you have an all-time great or an all-time favorite Bengals athlete?
Probably Anthony Munoz.
Yeah.
Just a big guy. Has given so much back to the community.
Yes, sir.
And I think he, just inspiration to any of us that grew up in that era.
Yes, sir. Understood. Um, Shift and let's talk about your journey with Butler Tech for a little bit.
Okay.
How many years have you been with Butler Tech?
Just over 17.
Just over 17. That's a long time at Butler Tech. So congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
And tell the audience what your role is, what your day-to-day look like with Butler Tech.
Well, the first 10 and a half years I started out as a custodian.
Yes, sir.
I sat down and had a conversation with Dave Plotz one day, and I was interested in going to the maintenance side. My father was one of these guys that could do anything mechanically.
Yes, sir.
Back before Google and the internet was a thing that you could look everything up on. So I already had that interest, and Dave laid out a roadmap, and these were his expectations that he wanted to see.
Yes, sir.
And in normal Dave told me, he said, no guarantees.
Yeah.
But he wanted to see me put forth the effort and chase that opportunity. And I really feel like Dave gave me a path.
Okay. It's awesome to hear you reflect on who gave you a path and an opportunity in the organization. So
and maybe
Dave's a remarkable leader. So
absolutely
appreciate you shouting him out.
He for the first time possibly in my adult life, he actually gave me a path.
Mm.
And Dave, with his military background, he would tell me on occasions, we're going to allow you to do this. There's no guarantees.
Yes, sir.
So he kept that fire lit that I had to chase what I wanted.
You're talking about Dave Plotz, and earlier in our podcast, I've already responded to you about 2 or 3 things, just common dialogue, common overlap that we have happen is I showed up to work this week, and on my desk, there was a thank you card from Dave Plotz too. So unexpected and just
good man.
Yeah. Good man.
Good man.
What I do know about you at Butler Tech is there's a couple of key descriptions that people make about you. And I'd like to know where it comes from. And in particular, people say that you're extremely patient. People say that you're a hardcore, just hard worker. And then the third thing that people say about you all the time is this combination of not only are you patient, but you have this degree of kindness about you that everyone knows transcends your personality. Like, has that always been your personality, or did you learn that from somebody, or did you pick it up over the years? Like,
I think that I was always pretty humble growing up.
yes, sir.
My father kept me humble and directed, and my mother was just it still is just one of the sweetest ladies. So I really think a lot of that I adapted from her. The hard work part comes from fear of letting people down.
Mm.
I don't want to feel like I've let somebody down.
Yeah.
Patience isn't always there. I'm just good at covering it when it's not.
Well, you certainly cover it well because myself, dozens and dozens of teachers in this organization, there's just a narrative that Jimmy is patient and Jimmy is kind and he's a hard worker and he's going to get your back. And I know that on behalf of our teachers and on behalf of our students, they wouldn't be able to be as confident and resourced as possible to do the great things they do with kids if they didn't have people like you behind the scenes just absolutely moving tons of bricks for them on a regular basis.
And a lot of them have always responded to me in kindness. And think especially as you get older and you mellow out and you realize that being kind don't take a lot of effort.
Say that one more time. He said, being kind don't take a lot of effort.
No, sir.
Yes, sir. It's a good reminder, even me personally, when I leave here today, to just constantly focus on being kind to everyone that comes across my path. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for reinforcing that being kind doesn't take any effort. I I know we talked about how long you've been at Butler Tech, what's your role at Butler Tech. What does your day-to-day look like at Butler Tech? Like, what types of things are you doing? Like,
And
when do you get here, and what does your grind look like?
I usually, I'm early most days, but I'm usually here. My starting time is 6 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Usually the first thing I do is I go through and I check all the buildings as far as temperature. Well, I drive the parking lot first here because I've been here for 6 years in this location in Fairfield Township. Uh, when I get into the actual office, first thing I do is I check all the temperatures,
Okay.
how our buildings are running, and make sure that we're ready for the day and the students to come.
Yes, sir.
Uh, we have so many different mechanical systems in the buildings that you have to kind of check because if not, they'll catch you off guard because mechanicals will break down.
Yes.
So making sure the temperatures are right, that we're ready to rock and roll.
Okay. Um, what's something from this past week that you'd like to talk about from a space of gratitude? Somebody or some event that you're thankful for, that when you look back at this last week, you just appreciate that this moment happened.
You know, I'm gonna go with our all staff day,
Okay.
and part of that is I'm in a transition phase right now with Butler Tech.
Okay.
I'm moving from this campus outwards to natural science, aviation, and some of our satellite programs.
Okay.
And the overwhelming people that came up and were so kind and gave me such kind words
Yeah.
meant the world,
Yeah.
and it made you feel like that you had an impression on.
I'm gonna have to call Dave Plotz and tell him I'm moving you back to Stimson. That's what's gonna happen. I know already in the podcast you've mentioned your parents, and you also mentioned whomever the person was that gave you your first job. Question is there somebody in your life that had a significant influence over you in a positive way? Somebody that really influenced you that you didn't see coming or that you did see coming, and maybe that answer's already your mom or your dad, or is there anyone else?
I would say my father and my parents. My dad was such a man of integrity.
Okay.
Uh, he was a very quiet spoken man, very, very stern and set in his ways of beliefs. But I never saw him ever get over on anybody or take advantage of anybody. He was always good to people. Uh, my mother, who has just been the biggest supporter and fan that I've ever had in my life, uh, they play the most impact on anything. Since I've been here at Butler Tech, I've numerous people that's impacted my life and that I have respect for. And I don't like to say the word copycat, but even at 56, I still like to feel I pick up on things that are positives from other people and try to incorporate to myself.
That's fantastic. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with modeling or taking the best practices from other people in your own style. So whether it's copycat or not, there's nothing wrong with copycatting the best traits from other people.
It's learning.
It is learning, yes, sir. Maybe try to finish this statement for me. The entire point of life is to what?
Hard and help others. Uh, if I think sometimes the word love is thrown around very flimsy. I think if you're going to love and be committed to something, that you have to be committed to that. And I guess you would call it unquestionable.
Yeah.
Try to help other people and find your purpose.
Yeah. Thank you for that answer. In the podcast, it gave me chills while I was sitting over here just when you dropped that bar. That's a heck of an answer. So I'm sure the viewers and the audience is gonna appreciate hearing it too. Do you have any underrated life skills that you might talk to the audience about? For example, not confusing fast with moving forward. Is there an underrated life skill that you want us to know about you walking away?
I think self-awareness.
Okay.
What I mean by that is I know what my strengths are I know what my weaknesses are and what I need to improve on. I think, and I'm sure you've seen it yourself, as you go through life, I'm surprised by the amount of people sometimes that don't do self inventory
Mm.
to see where they're at or what what changes they need to make. Lord knows from 20 to now, the change has been night and day.
Okay.
So I think constant self awareness of realizing your strengths and trying to.
Powerful answer, sir.
So
Thank you for that. Then let's end with, what do you want your legacy to be? When all's said and done, what do you want to be known for?
that I was a good man and that I was kind. Uh, if if I'm known and I've helped somebody or influenced somebody and I've been kind to them, I think that's the best I can ask for. Uh, with from my family to students to staff here, everyday lives. If I can, if I can show somebody some empathy and understand where they're at and try to be kind to them during their times of struggle,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be happy with that.
When you speak, it calms me. And I know that's something else that people also say about you, is you have this energy that you give off that it calms people. And I just wanted to
Thank you.
just validate that for you. You're certainly such great energy to be around, such important, impactful, powerful energy to be around. Tell me, in the morning, are you a water guy? Are you an energy drink guy? Are you a coffee guy? What do you drink in the morning?
It's surprising. I have an older sister, my mother and father, they're all avid coffee drinkers when
Okay.
dad was alive. Uh, I mean, back then, mom and dad would drink 3 or 4 pots a day. I never developed the taste for it. I'm a 5 hour energy guy in the morning.
Okay.
That's where I get my caffeine. I gave up pop about 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm, I do my 5 hours and have my little morning routine. It gets me going. And usually by the time I hit here, I'm wired for sound.
Last question. What do you listen to? Like, what's your choice of music?
Uh, I got very eclectic taste in music. Um, I'm probably late 70s, 80s rock
Okay.
as far as day in, day out. But I grew up under the country music influence, bluegrass influence. My father was very heavy
Okay.
bluegrass. Uh, I also have no issues with the gospel choir bringing down the house.
There you go.
They're just rocking it. So I like. It really depends on the mood in the moment.
Awesome. On behalf of the leadership team, on behalf of our teaching staff, on behalf of our support staff and our student body here at Butler Tech, just want to say thank you. This place doesn't function, not necessarily without just Jimmy Wagers, but there's an entire team of people that are in support roles in our district that you represent today. And I just want to say thank you to all of those people, and the people that you represent as good folks that are custodians and maintenance workers and bus workers and secretaries. And you guys play such a key role in allowing Butler Tech to be one of the most amazing, special spaces there could ever be for young people to come to school. And so thank you for all your hard work, sir.
And I would give you the thank you back to you and the administration and the people that's had the vision in the future, the growth that I've been here and watched these kids. To sit down sometimes to talk to some of these kids and realize how brilliant they are and what they do and what they, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up, and they've already on that path and know it.
What I do know that you want to be is a better fisherman than Steve Jackson.
Absolutely.
I had to toss that in before the end of the podcast. I know Mr. Jackson's gonna he's gonna come watch this podcast, and I know he's a great fisherman. But word on the street is you're one notch better.
I try to give him a run for his money.
Mr. Wagers, thank you, appreciate you,
Thank
and peace out to everyone from Butler Tech. Thank you for tuning
you
in,
all.
and go Good Trouble. Peace.